Welcome back. In this video, we will learn about methods. I want to print a pyramid for various input. Till now, we have seen a pyramid printing only for a specific input, right? So from the user, we will take a single input. For example, if a user enters 5, then we will see a pyramid pattern for the particular input. Similarly, like if I enter some other input also, like I will be able to see. But I want to see a multiple pyramid for multiple inputs. So what I'll do, here I have created a two same patterns. So both will follow a same pyramid pattern, but they are differing by number of input. Here this will print for the input 5 and this pattern will print the pattern for input 7. So when I run them, so here if you see, this is for n equal to 5. Clear, and have used dotted line to separate both the pyramid, and this is for n equal to 7. So here if you notice in the code, the same code have repeated twice. Here it is only for two different inputs, so I am using the same code. But what if I want to see a multiple number of pattern for multiple number of input? Will I repeat the same set of code n number of times? For example, like if I want to see a 10 number of input from 1 to 10 or from 10 to 20. So will I repeat this code for 10 number of times? No. If I repeat it, then that is not called as a programming. So what I will do, I will make use of a method. I will make use of a method so that this particular logic, whatever is there, I will place this entire logic inside the method. And after placing the logic inside the method, I will call the method n number of times by varying the input. So this is called as a method. That is, I will write the loop once and call it as many times I want. So let us see the anatomy of a method. Here if you see, this is a syntax of a method. A method always starts with a access specifier, that is public. It starts with the access specifier public and followed by a static keyword. Static keyword because the method must belong to that particular class. Clear? And next what you see is the integer. Here it can be integer or any of the data type. Clear? After static keyword, it must follow a data type. It can be of anything. And next what you have, this is your method name. Here I have defined as a print pyramid, but it can be anything. And always remember, method name must be a camel case. So method name must be a camel case. Initially it starts with the access specifier, that is public access specifier, followed by a static keyword, then followed with a data type. It can be any data type, right? Next what you have is a method name in a camel case and int n. Int n is nothing but a parameters. Here parameter are a variable initialized during the method declaration, right? And within the braces, what you see is a set of statements which is also called as a method body, or the loop or the logic which needs to be placed, right? Now let us see how this method will help for us. Here if you see, we have a program, right? This is a main function. This is a main function, and here we see like we have a method, that is the method name is a print pyramid. Now here on the right hand side, like we see it is a input, like what we are passing, right? Now what happens, as I mentioned, the execution always starts with the main method, right? So here in main method, I have a method defined as a print pyramid. So print pyramid of 5. Inside the braces, I have defined the arguments. These arguments are nothing but the values provided whenever I am whenever I am calling a method. Don't get confused between the arguments and the parameters. These parameters are nothing but a variable defined in this method definition. Whereas these arguments, what you have, 5, 7, 9, these are nothing but the actual value, and these are only used when you are passing, when you are calling a method. So here, as I mentioned, execution always starts with the main method. So the first method is a print pyramid. Print pyramid of 5. Now the execution starts here. Print pyramid of 5. The console will directly move on to this method. That is public static void print pyramid. Right? The console will move on to the method and the value of n is now 5. Right? So this value, this argument is assigned to a parameter n equal to 5. Now it will execute entire logic. It will execute entire logic and initially it will print for n equals to 5. Clear? In the output you can see for n equals to 5 followed by the pattern. Whatever pyramid it will print, like it will print the pyramid pattern, and after that like we have a dotted line which is getting separated. Dotted line getting separated, and so once it will print, it will again come back to this n equals to 5. So after printing, it will move on to the next pyramid, that is 7, where the argument is 7. Now again this will come back to the method print pyramid. Now the value of n is 7, not 5. Right? So now it will again print for n equals to 5. Sorry, for n equals to 7. Clear? And it will print the entire pattern as per this loop what we have made it, and it will print a dotted lines to separate from the other loop. Now it will again come back to 7, so that 7 execution has been completed. Now the remaining execution is for the argument 9 and it will call a print pyramid again. Right? So this particular loop gets executed. Now the value of n is 9. Right? So it will print for n equals to 9 and followed by a pattern, then followed by a dotted line. So if you notice here, in the previous program we have written this particular logic for almost 2 times. But if I want this pattern to be printed, then I cannot write it for many times. Right? So what I'll do, so here using the method name, using this method name, I have called 3 different arguments where I am using the same loop. Now you might have got the picture, right? Now this particular loop or this entire method is running multiple times for different number of arguments. Now along with 5, 7, 9, if I want to print even for input 10 or even for input 12, then it is also possible. In the next console, in the next line, again I have to initialize a method print pyramid of 10 and again print pyramid of 12. So it will print me a separate pyramid for 10 and 12. So here we are not defining this method continuously. We are not defining this method for more than one time. We are just defining it one time and calling it multiple times. This is how method works, right? So now let us see how exactly it works in VS Code. This is a main method, and as I mentioned, the execution starts here. So here I am initializing a method that is print pyramid of 5. So 5 is the argument, and as soon as the console sees this method, it will directly jump to the main. As soon as the console sees the method, it will directly jump to the method which is a print pyramid of 5, where the parameter will be initialized to an argument where n equal to 5. Right? Now accordingly it will print the entire, it will execute the entire loop, and next it will print this dotted line. This I have, the dotted line here I have put because to differentiate from all the 3 patterns. Similarly the same happens for 7 and 9. Now let us see how, now let us see the execution. Here we are not taking any input from the user. So here if you see, for n equal to 5. So in this method, the first statement what we have is for n. So initially n is 5. So for n equals to 5 in the output, then it is executing the entire logic, that is entire pattern is getting printed. And finally to differentiate, it is printing the dotted line. Next it is done with the first parameter, it is done with the first argument, that is 5. Now next argument is 7. So 7 is getting placed with the n equal to 7, right? and the pattern gets printed over here. Similarly, same happens for n equals to 9. So this is how methods are useful. Here in the earlier program, you see, I have written a loop two times for different number of input, but here I have used a method called as a print pyramid, and I have defined the logic or the body, and I have defined the logic within the method, which is called as a method body, and I am calling it has and I am calling it as many number of times I want. Now similarly, like if I want to print even for, if I want a pattern even for different number of if I want a pattern even for other input, for example like 11, right, or even 9 is done, 6, then even that is possible. Let me execute it. So here the input are 5, 7, 9, 11, 6. If you see here, yes, this is for 5 and next one is for 7 followed by 9, 11 and 6. So for n number of input, the logic has been working and the method has been called multiple times. Here we are not writing the method, same method multiple times. Instead the method is getting called multiple times. Clear? So this is about methods. Always remember, if I use void keyword, it doesn't return me anything. Whenever I am using void keyword, it doesn't return me anything. Instead, if I use a return keyword, then it would return a specific result. So this is all about methods. In the next video, like we will learn the difference between return and void keywords as well as pass by value. So till then, keep practicing the previous program, like whichever I have taught you till now. And like and share the video like if you have understood the concept, and subscribe to the channel for upcoming more videos on Java series. Thank you.